The reason I want you to use the 509 is because it's got an optical.
The shooter's grip?
I'm a disco zebra. I'm a disco zebra. Stop making fun of me, Dad.
But really, the way I do these things is,
It's a conversation.
yeah, we're talking to each other.
Yeah.
They're part of the conversation.
Okay.
They're important. I'm grateful for them. They hear what we have to say in our conversation with each other and be a part of that through their comments.
Right.
So leave comments so I know what do you think.
Controlled means safe. Safe means everybody goes home with all the holes they were born with and all the blood they started off with that day in their body. Unless you married a lady. Anyway, you know what I'm saying.
Show up at your door. You have to look down whenever I knock on it.
Way down.
Yeah, but take your kneecaps out with my teeth.
Well, all right. How's it going?
Oh, we're recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we've been recording.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's what we call edited in post.
Sure.
Take your kneecaps off.
Yeah. But with my
I've
teeth.
got you threatening people.
Yeah. You should.
It's called blackmail.
You should replay that as often as possible.
Okay, to find out if you're empty or not, roll it over to the side. Look inside. No, don't touch a handle. Just look inside the chamber. Is it stuck open? Then you're empty. All right?
Okay, I like these.
Most everybody does.
Well, in the words of one of my kids' favorite cartoons, there are no accidents.
I don't know. I've had a couple of those.
That doesn't surprise me.
So 2 shots, strong hand, 1 shot upside down, 2 shots offhand.
Nice.
Slow trigger pull.
Hey, we got a Jason Bourne. You might be left-handed.
That was so awkward.
So you're working on that. You guys are down here for a little event we're doing right
Yeah.
now. That'll be out probably before I actually release this episode. So we
The
can
pants
talk
off,
about
dance
it.
off.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
I did not know I was volunteering.
Sure.
For that.
Well, we called it by the different name, a range name. It's all lumped together like a sandwich, you know?
Being dumb. Better is being tall, which automatically means stupid, which automatically means dumb.
Lex, welcome back for a second time, but this time in person.
Yeah.
Glad you came all the way here. Long drive
Tell him where. Tell him from where.
from all the way down in wannabe Texas. Oh, I'm sorry, Louisiana. You go by the TikTok history teacher,
Mhm.
and clearly on TikTok, but you're working on.
I'm starting to cross post on YouTube and various different places. So
We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Mhm.
But thank you for coming all the way over here as well from
You're
where
welcome.
you came from.
You're
Long
welcome.
drive for you as well.
oh, not too bad.
Whopping like 4-hour drive.
3.
Mine was 24 hours. 4-hour drive. 24. I had to sleep in my car.
Oh, that's a cop thing. You guys always sleep in your
You-
car.
True. That's not a lie.
You're used to that. Don't lie.
Yeah. Wish
Yeah,
I could lie.
thank you guys
So-
for coming on.
We should
You're welcome.
probably refer to each other by our real names, not our fake internet names, once we've got the introductions out of the way. Because nobody on YouTube knows me as Lex. That's just Discord. So I go by Kennedy, on
That's
YouTube.
fair. Okay.
so I'm just saying.
What namesake is that though?
Let's not worry about that.
Uh
Let's not worry about that.
huh.
Man,
Okay.
It's
okay,
just-
Kennedy.
Let's just go by Kennedy. We'll just go by Kennedy.
All right.
Yeah. Let's try it 2-handed. I wonder if this will hurt my target.
I don't
It
know.
shouldn't. Let's find out.
Let's step back a little bit here.
There it is. Nope. Didn't damage it. Oh, cool.
A lot of my content is growing in length. So while TikTok, I started with doing short form videos. They're gradually getting longer, and one of the things I want to do YouTube is more of an in-depth dive on some of these things.
Okay.
Part of the problem with TikTok is that I'll read and do research on all this, and it's so much research. There's so much in there, and I can only fit so much into a 10-minute video. I skip over things that are incredibly important in the story, but I'm unable to put it in there because I got to kind of fit everything in there to make the content still engaging.
That's got a very sensitive trigger.
Very light for a 45.
Yeah.
There
Nice.
it is. Right.
So one of the things I'm doing with YouTube is I'll do some of the subjects that I can get where there's more in there. I can do a longer form video where I'm not subject to a certain amount of time.
Stuff where the content, there's more to the story that you
Yeah.
can touch on.
Yeah, because a lot of these things need to have their story told. One of the things that I say about history is not complete. You learn the bullet points. You know what I mean? And there's a lot more to some of these stories than just the bullet points. I did a video on the Iowa battleships. The story of the Iowa battleship and how it got there, and a lot of the things that happened with all four of them is really interesting, but I had to pick and choose one story that kind of was engaging, which was the Wisconsin and Korea. But there's so much more that I wanted to get in there, so that's why I'm starting to do videos on YouTube.
That's good. I mean, the longer form content's going to help you get that extra bit of the story out there.
In case y'all didn't know this, Bob over here loves his dad jokes. He loves them a lot.
They know.
And I despise them. I hate dad jokes.
Puns are bread and butter.
They make the skin on the back of my head just curl. I mean, crinkle. I mean, a hair stand up. They make my toes curl. I'm not going to talk about what they make crinkle.
Wow. Okay.
Don't let him distract you with his dad jokes.
You get used to it.
Yep. At this point in time, I'm going to obstruct your vision. Once I do, on your command, I want you to hit that target 5 times.
All right.
All right?
Yep. Here we go.
Yep.
Hey, 3 out of 5 ain't bad.
And then Kennedy, what are you working on?
Oh, we have a...
Bro, that smile is terrifying.
I know, right? I don't know how to smile correctly. I have like something wrong with my lower lip or something. I don't know what's going on.
I mean, I don't know how to smile correctly either.
Well, I mean, you've got a physiological reason for that. Mine's almost entirely neurological. But
yeah, well, there's a reason for that too.
Yeah. So we have
I feel like the sandwich, like I'm the middle of this.
We have a game that we
in the middle again.
created for a range-based shooting game called NOOB.
Okay. Ready. These are the impact points.
What we're doing now with NOOB is that we're adapting it from steel targets to paper targets. And so that involves the reworking of every single one of the challenges in order to have them set up for 5 targets instead of 3 targets. So we're actually in the process. Baker's the number 2 of, actually he's the number 1. He's a great big number 1. I'm the smaller number 2. We're actually going to be filming a whole bunch of referral videos. So every time you choose a challenge off of this game, it's going to have a QR code at the top of the thing. And if you're in a place that has actual, cell phone service, you can scan the QR code. It'll bring you to an exact video showing you what to do for the challenge instead of reading it out and trying to imagine it in your head.
You're also doing some things on your own while you're waiting for Baker too, right? You're doing...
Yes. Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about my editing. No.
we'll talk on that too.
Kennedy Learns Guns. So Kennedy Learns Guns is, let's just get this straight. I'm a firearms instructor. I am not a gun guy. I couldn't give 2 craps less about your make and model of your gun, how much it shoots, what the furniture looks like, what cool attachments you can put on it. I'm like an F1 driver with only 1 car in the garage. I want to learn how to use that 1 car to the best of its and my ability, and I feel the same way about guns. So that's an issue. I need to fix that, right? So I started a series called Kennedy Learns Guns, or KLG, and that's where I take a gun out of Baker's safe and I familiarize myself with the gun, shoot it, and give a little teeny tiny little Kennedy size review.
No, that's some good stuff because there's other people out there that might not know the.
No, and I can understand what you're saying is because, I am not a huge firearms person either.
Mhm.
So, while I like guns and I know about them, I'm not, like I told you when we spoke last night, once my daughter was born, my ex-wife was like, you need to get rid of these.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're 100% correct.
Yeah.
Now that my kids are older, it might be something that I get back into,
Mhm.
and start learning how to operate some of the firearms and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But a channel like that, especially for people, who don't know but want to get into it would be a good thing.
Yeah. So far, I've only got like 7 or 8 of those done, but eventually I plan on going through the entire 45, 50 gun collection that Baker has, and then you'll be able to actually look at that video and go, hey, I want to find out more about, say, the FNX 45 or the M&P Shield or, FN 509 or something.
Kind of an educational video, but even if you're just educating yourself.
It's slight education, but with more fart jokes, right? There's a whole lot more. There's more fart jokes than there is education, but there's some education.
This is meant to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because most people have never shot their gun offhand, both hands, right? Using this hand to drop the magazine, use this hand to grab a magazine, insert, and chamber.
Okay.
Oh no! You got 2 more chances. You can only use your strong hand. There you go. Chamber it. Chamber. Hey, there you go. He used the button. He's really struggling with that offhand. Hey, you got it. One more chance. Part of the challenge of doing these challenges in front of all these other people is that you have people watching you. Anticipate it again. So you have all these other people watching you. That induces stress. There you go. You're about to get slide bit like fucking Tony.
Like a dummy.
Oh no!
I'll tell you this much: if there's more fart jokes in my world science and economics class in high school, I would have paid a lot more attention.
That's my thought process behind it too.
I have more people on TikTok say the same thing. They're like, if I would have had you as a history teacher, because that's what I make, silly jokes and laugh all the time. And that's part of what makes it fun is that I tell everybody, history is supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
Right. That's what we learn. So I make jokes and I have more people on there go, I wish you were my history teacher. Like I would have learned history in high school.
Yeah, I would have actually paid attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
if my science class had more fart jokes and more humor in it, I might actually remember more than 3 elements on the periodic table.
Right.
So why are you guys here? Why are you even content creators to begin with?
Me and Baker were out on the range one day, this before all of this happened, and we started playing we just adapted the basketball game of horse to a shooting game, and that involved like picking up weights, doing handstands, cartwheels, and all this other kind of nonsense.
I would pay money to see you do a cartwheel.
I can totally do a cartwheel.
I would pay good money to see that.
I'd like to see him do one of the handstands and do a push-up while he's at it.
I can do that.
No, that one I'll give him, right? But do a cartwheel.
I can do a round off. You know what a round off is? Cartwheel, but instead of both legs coming down one at a time, they meet in the middle, and then you pull your feet pull your hands up off the ground. It looks pretty dope.
We are totally doing that.
I'm totally going to do that. Absolutely.
I am not doing it. I will die.
I understand.
And on a hill, I can do a round off.
Uh-oh, I can get away.
So we were on the range just kind of goofing off, and then one of us, we still don't know to this day, I think it was me because I'm that kind of guy, said, hey, this would actually go well on a YouTube video. People would enjoy watching people play this game. It's a novel and unique way of doing things. And then eventually, after a little bit of pounding the keys and just kind of brainstorming, figuring stuff out over some drinks, we kind of figured out the rules and regulations and how this would actually help other people go from beginner to intermediate, because that's the biggest gap in skill. So you have lots and lots on YouTube anyway, lots and lots of channels showing you how to stand, how to hold,
sight picture, sight alignment, breath control, trigger control, all that good stuff.
Mhm.
And then you have a bunch of stuff like Black Rifle Coffee, where they go up in a helicopter with a mini bird with some Gatling guns, and they shoot a bunch of hogs. There's a surprisingly large lack. There's a
huge gap.
There you go. There's a huge gap of going from beginner to expert, covering the intermediate area, and that's where our game can help you. Because if you don't know what you're bad at, it's kind of difficult to figure out what to practice at. So we stick you in a game. If you fail that game or you do horrible at it, well, then you know what to practice at, and then you can take what you know you're bad at and specifically look for that on YouTube or anyplace else to practice up on that skill.
So I dare say you're making failing fun.
Yes. And it is fun. It's aggravating. It's so much fun, mostly whenever you're not failing.
Yeah.
If
Well,
you're,
everybody loves to win. It's hard to lose.
Oh,
and
yeah.
especially hard when there's not a reason for it.
Oh, yeah.
When you have to face the fact that you just suck at something.
Yep. And then your friends can help you by standing off to the side, pointing, and laughing uproariously whenever you fail to hit the target or you fail to meet a particular challenge goal.
Yeah, that's the whole point of public safety right there.
Oh, yeah.
This is like when you look at your friend, be like, you suck at that.
Shame is a wonderful tool.
Guarantee I
There's
won't
a
suck at that
reason
too.
Yeah.
There's a reason why peer pressure works.
Yep. Yep. So we're looking to bring that back onto the shooting range and to help people go from beginner to expert by covering the intermediate basis and making it fun to do so.
Why do you do it?
There was history is about learning where we've been so we don't make the same mistakes again. The whole thing started with when the TikTok ban was going into effect. I started just making a fun video talking about how, the US is banning a Chinese app on the basis of giving information to China, when then all of these people then went and downloaded an actual Chinese app that is owned by the government of China just to spite them, right? And that would, when I linked it to history, I'm like, that's like the Boston Tea Party. The petty is there, right? You're going to do this. You're going to tax our tea. We're going to throw it in the harbor so you can't get it taxed. And as I started going, I'd make a video and a couple videos, and I realized one of the reasons that I do is history is, when you learn it in school, history is boring. Nobody makes it fun. Nobody makes it interesting to learn. And that's how my brain breaks things down. So I'm like, I just started making content. As it got into it, I started picking, it was general history, and then I started picking, specific events, or specific things. And that's really the reason is I want to teach people. I want you to look at that and go, that was funny, and I learned something.
Agreed.
We can learn from our mistakes. We can be like, this is how this happened. We can be better humans. We can be better people. We can be individuals. We can be better Americans.
I mean, history, there's the expression that history repeats itself. Well, how do you keep it from repeating itself?
You have
Learn
to learn
from the
about
mistakes past.
Like in the video that I did about the Yamato, right? When we sunk the Yamato, the Japanese lost like 4,500 men in the sinking, right? We lost 10 planes and 12 men. And that entire battalion, that entire task force of 58-1 and 58-3, nobody knows about those two, that the 200, 300 pilots that made this go down, that did this. We just know we sank it. Nobody knows why it sank or what we did. And that story needs to be heard.
Give me a place.
Any place?
Yes, a place.
The zoo.
Okay, the zoo. Give me a theme. Give me a theme. Go, now.
Disco.
Disco theme. All right, fucking at the zoo. And a time of day. Go.
4 in the afternoon.
4 in the afternoon, disco zoo. All right, here we go. I'm a disco zebra. So, have you ever talked about why you do this?
Not on camera yet. I've told people, but I mean, if they read the description, they know why. But I'll say it.
Yeah, but you should give it a personable reading, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
we started this channel
Mhm.
because I wanted to make sure that the history, the individualized history of everybody involved, whether they're old or young in any kind of conflict, whether deployed or not deployed, everybody has a story.
Yep.
And everybody's story impacts history. Down to someone who just started, all the way to someone who did 30 years. Down to somebody who did a couple contracts, went off and did their own thing, started their own company, and now that company's Black Rifle. Like someone as influential as them. They started out in the military. No one paid attention to their jobs in the military when they were doing it. They didn't end up in the history books for their jobs there. They marked their name into history by doing something afterwards, even though they should, their story in the military should be remembered.
To shoot this as fast as a semi-automatic, and hopefully as accurately, on my offhand, whatever hand you use for the forward grip, put a little bit of back pressure on it, right? So that whenever you pull the trigger and this goes bang, that rear pressure automatically pulls this back. So once it comes back, and that happens pretty quick, all you have to do is just quickly move it back forward again.
Your stuff in the military was probably not written down in a history book somewhere.
Oh, it definitely wasn't.
Okay.
For good reason.
But it still had an impact. It was still an important job
Yeah.
that needed to get done. That if you hadn't been there doing that job, they'd have been one person shy, and then we're going to delve into the butterfly effect. And I'm not going down that rabbit hole right now.
Yeah.
I've talked to people, some of them I haven't had the option to bring on to here just yet, but there's people that I know and I've talked to that have been involved in like stateside operations and intelligence stuff like that. And then that intelligence that they processed and then passed along influenced and impacted the guys on ground in the Middle East, whether or not they were going to be successful in their mission or not. And I also wanted to show that whenever you have someone who thinks that their service didn't matter, that it does. And that there's guys whose service that they believe their service meant more, sitting there saying, no, your shit was important too.
Yeah.
I couldn't do my job without you, and you wouldn't have a job if I wasn't here. We're all here for the same goal. Thank you for helping me do that. And that's why I do this too, is that, again, bringing out that connection that, the big guys, the Medal of Honor, Silver Stars, the ones that died, the ones that came back and were paraded all over the place. Black Hawk Down, Special Forces, those guys are recognized. Their stories, even if they're not well known in that way, but they write stories and they do movies about them. So you see some of the background. These other guys, they don't get that.
Yeah.
They need to understand that those guys in your story, while they may be different, they're one and the same.
Well, everybody talks about Chris Kyle, right? American Sniper. Everybody talks about him. Nobody talks about the guys that backed him up.
Right.
Nobody talks about the guys that were the spotter that was with him that helped him make those incredible shots. That guy's just as important.
Some would argue more.
Yeah.
Because he was on the same mission, had the same issues. Chris Kyle was not a single lone wolf soldier. No. And I don't know if you know this or not, with sniper teams, especially at that level, they alternate. They take turns. One is not always a sniper. So Chris just happened to be the one on the rifle.
Oh, and that's not me saying that he was not an American hero. Like, listen, he was one of the best snipers there ever was, and I don't disagree with that at all. But there are other people that need it, and especially nowadays, like with being a law enforcement officer, those cops that get up every day, being an EMS, not many people realize, we miss all the times with our families. I can't go to my kids' stuff because I'm there. And when I'm on duty, my service area is some like 40 some square miles. And I am responsible for every human being's well-being, whether you live there or not, in that 40 some square miles. If you need help, you're getting me. That might be a mistake, but still, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of dead air while he's loading, so. Just give you guys something to look at.
So we do definitely need to recognize people doing the right thing. But for the younger crowd, we also need to hold law enforcement accountable to their very own same set of rules and responsibilities that they have.
They need to be responsible to remember their oath.
Yeah. I've met a lot of people
younger people, some of it on Twitter, some of it in real life, and they have a problem with law enforcement. Not because law enforcement has done anything to them. This is purely a third party outrage. They're outraged that a whole bunch of other people really, really like cops. That's it. That's the whole reason they hate cops, is because a whole bunch of older people and boomers and all that, they're all like, yeah, blue line rocks, woo. And then they look at that and then they automatically take the opposing situation. Then once you're in that mindset, then you look at everything that happens negatively in a cop's, like a traffic stop or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so you amplify those negative things because you're pushing back against what Grandpa, Billy Bob has been ranting on for the past 40 years about cops being the greatest thing on earth. So we need to not only boost the stories of people doing the right thing, we also need to just come down on people like a ton of bricks whenever they're doing the wrong thing.
There you go. Keep going.
Everybody knows the major event, Sandy Hook,
Right.
the mall.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody talks about the cop that was the first one into Sandy Hook, right?
Yeah.
Like that guy, there's an active shooter. We don't know what's going on. People are hurt, and this cop just goes running in there, right? He takes his safety, but that guy needs to be recognized as the guy that goes in to that, you know? And that's saying the bad stuff. We face a lot of that in EMS because our uniforms look the same. So when it's 10 o'clock at night and I show up in an ambulance and a cop shows up next to me and we both step out next to each other, you can't tell the difference.
Yeah. Nobody's going to look to think for a rig belt or a vest on you. They're just going to see similar shape, similar size, similar color.
They see the badge, and that's all they see.
Yep.
They see that, and they're like, "You."
Yep. I mean, Uvalde is a fantastic example
Mm-hmm.
of seeing something that went terribly wrong.
Yeah.
And fortunately, there have not been a whole bunch of people, thank God, that have been propping up the Uvalde Police Department and excusing their behavior, which, as someone who's gone through active shooter training, they literally took the rule book for active shooter and they went through all the things you're supposed to do and did the exact opposite. That was exactly what you should not have done. And so
what needs to happen with that is that needs to be used as a training doctrine for future ones.
Yep.
Look what happens when you don't follow procedure.
Yep.
And I can make cop jokes.
Absolutely.
So
100%.
I can make cop jokes.
You should make cop jokes every minute of every day. You should call them pigs and oinkers and bacon eaters and donut eaters and everything like that, because you know what? If you're going to be so sensitive to insults, you're probably not going to be the right guy to make entry into a school to protect other people. So maybe you should have, I don't know, maybe another job field.
If your skin ain't thick enough to stand up to words, you're not going to respond, right?
No.
All right. Well, thank you both very much. Second time on, first time in person. Thanks for driving all the way up here.
Yay.
Thank you for making the trip over.
Not a problem.
By the time you guys see this, it's an announcement that the other stuff will already be out. So you make sure if you didn't already comment or like on the range day content, you go check that out too. Because these guys are involved with that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. See you next time.
Later.